Today's video, we're going to talk about a sales pop-up widget that you can put on your website for e-commerce websites like Shopify, like WooCommerce, whatever you're doing, whatever you're using for a platform to run your e-commerce site on. Answering the question, do they work to increase conversions? When I say sales pop-up widget, what we're literally talking about here is like in the lower right hand or lower left hand part of your screen. I'm sure you've seen it on websites before. What it'll say, John R. from Dallas, Texas just bought a XYZ. And then like 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 seconds later, there'll be another pop-up that says, Mary M. from Tallahassee, Florida has just reviewed the XYZ product 5 stars. And then another 10 seconds later, Mark F. from Minneapolis, Minnesota just bought blah, blah, blah. And then it just keeps going like that with the idea or perception that this website and business is very popular and there's a lot of people hitting the site, a lot of people buying. Therefore, the idea being that I can let my guard down because this website's clearly a big website, a big company. People that associate bigger companies with more trust, because how could they possibly be big if they were not trusted already? Or another way to say it is, or conversely here, people don't think they're going to get screwed over by a big company as much because they don't need my money. They're desperate to scam somebody. But also people know scams aren't big companies as well, because scams stay small, they're fly by night and all that. So anyway, with that said, you can add a widget to your Shopify site or your WooCommerce site and all the mainstream platforms to run e-commerce very easily and get a pop-up like that to show up on your website. If you were wondering how much that actually generates for you in terms of an increase in sales, once you got it on your website, somewhere between 5 and 25% increases in conversion rate you can routinely get adding this pop-up to your website. More so in different verticals that have less trust in general, like a supplement site where people trust a product like that less, whereas you'll get less of a lift in industries where people already have trust. Like if you sold branded TVs, well, branded TV, I know what I'm getting there. Therefore, it's going to have less of an impact on your increase in conversion rate on your site by having it on a site like that. With that, I'm going to recommend the actual pop-up that I know that basically gets the best results that I've seen from working from our numerous clients here at our firm. I'm also going to give you specific examples of different markets and sites that we've used these in, both sites that we run and control, and also clients' websites that we also manage, because I also do both. I run an agency where we offer guaranteed PPC results for clients, but also I run e-commerce websites on the side that I diversify our income into and are building up a portfolio of websites, which is very easy to do nowadays because with outsourced shipping and fulfillment, anybody can run an e-commerce site without having to actually be handling or touching any product physically. That said, so I'll go through all that and a little bit more, and of course, everything you need to know to go out and run and do this for your brand today or starting today. So getting into the content, I mentioned what this pop-up actually is. If you have your website here, let's say this is your website. It's going to show up here in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. John M. just ordered blah, 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 blah. Mary R. just reviewed product, blah, blah, blah. And the idea is, though, also that the review or what it says that somebody bought is what the exact same product that they're looking at on that same product page, but not necessarily. But the pop-up, if it does show a message that somebody bought a product that you're also looking at on that same product page, it'll actually work better, and that's what you actually are looking for. Whether it shows up in the lower left or lower right necessarily, I don't know which one works better than the other. Normally people read stuff from left to right on a page, so normally you would want stuff to be on the left first, because that's where your eye's going to be drawn to first. So logically it makes sense to have it show up there first, but I have no data behind that specifically to mention. So with that said, this increases your conversion rates 5 to 25%, as I mentioned before, because it looks like there's a lot of activity on your website. People don't want to be the first person who buys from anybody. They don't want to be the second or third. They want to be the 5,625th person to buy the product that you're selling on your website, or the product that they're interested in that's on your website. the more you can make it seem like that, the higher conversion rates are going to be. Both through the method of using a sales pop-up like this, or by having customer testimonials or pictures of your customers using your product, which is a great one that almost nobody yet does. If you can have a picture of a customer holding your product and smiling and having a bunch of those on a product page, you'll sell a bunch more for the same reasons. This is just one of many ways that you can do that. These plugins are kind of, though, like a gray hat marketing strategy, because there's not really that much activity going on your website. It just makes it appear that way. Every 10 seconds is in a new purchase or a new review. Yes, it's not a fake review or a fake purchase because it looks at all your customers and all your reviews and only puts out there stuff that's actually happened, but it doesn't happen in the same frequency as it's saying there. So it is sort of misleading, but not totally fake at the same time. So like I mentioned before, there's about a 5 to 25% conversion rate lift that you'll typically get when you add this to the site. I know because I've seen this multiple times now. This is actually getting to be quite a popular way to increase conversion rates on an e-commerce store with our clients, and then therefore we started using it on our sites as well. Whether this will be as effective, in 2030, whatever, time will tell. Usually, the golden rule with marketing and advertising techniques are anytime it becomes ubiquitous or people start using it all the time, it becomes less effective because its novelty factor wears off. Novelty in marketing is where the abnormal, higher than average returns, really good returns come from. So as more and more people start using it, it has to become less and less effective just because of that. I still always think that it will give you a lift. It's just a lift that it's going to give you. It'll be less the more people that actually use it, because if it's not novel, people will ignore it, right? They see that pop-up. Oh, I've seen 10,000 of the pop-ups like that in the past, therefore I don't give a shit. Whereas if you've never seen a pop-up like that before, it's the opposite, right? So with that said, almost every single store that you could have, or every type of e-commerce store you have, you're going to get a lift using this thing. More so if your products are less trusted by the public or your brand, because obviously your brand could be not trusted, but you have trusted products, or it could be you could have not trusted products but a trusted brand. Neither of those cases, where you have low trust on the product or brand, you're going to get a higher lift than you would get with trusted products and a trusted brand name, using this pop-up on your website. Some of these tools, by the way, they actually will just mention sales that you had, some of them reviews. Some of them can't mention reviews because you don't do reviews on your website. Your reviews are on a third-party platform. As I've seen, you'll actually get the most lift adding this kind of pop-up to your website if it shows both the purchases and the reviews. So I do have information I can convey to you about that. So you want to go for both. And because most people use Shopify, I got one of these pop-up widgets to recommend for you for Shopify, and that is Sales Pop is the name of the one I would recommend specifically for Shopify to use. That's going to get you the best results. We've used this more than a couple times now, but I've used this on a supplements website where there was a specific seller of supplements that it's for like cognition, help with memory, help with brain fog, that kind of thing. And the products were all kind of centered around that, about the brain supplements. We used it on that particular website. We got a 17% increase in conversion rates just by adding that to the website. So to show you, a type of website where this will actually work on. Secondarily to this, to give you a second example here, we had an auto part shop that sells performance auto parts, to make your car in faster, that kind of thing. We got a 25% increase in conversion rates in that particular instance for that niche or industry type. So, and the reason why I think we got such a big lift there is because in the auto part space, there's really not a lot of known brands out there, so to say. So people have a hard time trusting and knowing who to trust out there. And naturally, it would make sense you would trust the one that has the biggest website selling the most, because obviously they would have vetted the products themselves a little bit better versus a smaller website. But why that had a higher lift than the supplements. In addition to what I just said, though, if you're buying something that's cheaper, you need to have less from the store in order to trust them enough to buy that product. Because if you buy a supplement for $30 and you get ripped off, obviously it's not a big deal, or not nearly as big a deal when you buy a $500 performance auto part and get ripped off. So to go along with the level of trust you have, the bigger the perceived risk for the user, namely risk being size of the transaction that's at hand, that you're going to get more of a lift adding this pop-up to your site, where you have low trust being one factor, but also the second factor being higher price, bigger risk for the user in terms of what they're buying. Because, naturally everybody could, return an item. You can say on your site 30-day money-back guarantee. At the end of the day, people know there's still a chance that the company won't honor a return if I try to do it. And that's always in the back of the mind of the user. For somebody, if they've never heard of your brand name before, they're not, there's always going to be risk there for the user. Therefore, that's where this pop-up is going to help you bridge that trust gap, as they say. It by itself isn't going to do everything for you. So you couldn't have a shitty website, add this pop-up and have this, make you a profitable site. But this, with a really good website already, will just make it even better in terms of increasing your conversion rates and profit from the ad traffic that you have driven to, or traffic in general that you drive to your website right now. So with that said, that's pretty much everything I could tell you. This is, like I said, we've done this multiple times now. It's getting to be a trending thing that people are doing. So to where does this become something you see on 25% or greater of websites out there in the future? We'll see. If it does, the results I mentioned here may not be what you get on your website as a result of it. But for now, the results are really, really good. And seems to be only like 5% or so of the websites out there actually use it. So anyway, just know that, by the time you watch this video and you use it, maybe a little bit different. At the very least, if you think by the time you see this video that it is overused and therefore the results might not be there, try it anyway. What is it? It takes you literally 30 minutes to set this pop-up on your Shopify site to see what would happen, and you can go and run it for 30 days, and then why not try it anyway? Just don't be discouraged by what I just said about it might not working based upon a bunch of people using it, because that's the direction it looks like it's going. And if you only get a 7 or 8% bump, it's still obviously worth it, because the pop-up widget is almost no money to also pay for it as well. There's almost no cost to it, relatively no cost. And it would be no cost, relative speaking, at all for anybody that's doing any kind of sales on their e-commerce store already. So with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully that made sense. If you have any questions about anything I said or any ad-related questions that you have in general, you can leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment or question on this channel, usually within 24 hours time. If you are looking for one best source of information on how to run online ads and make millions of dollars doing it for your brand that you're trying to promote, this is the channel you want to subscribe to, as I have experience managing dozens of ad accounts at any given time and just doing the strategy side of things to give you the information I'm sharing with you on this channel. Most of the other information you find online is from people that don't really manage ads, or they manage an account or two. They don't really have the information that shows what really works and what doesn't. And this is exactly what you get on this channel. It's not secondhand information, it's firsthand. Therefore, you want to subscribe to this channel if you're serious about making money online, running ads for your business, and you want to subscribe now already. With that said, I also have a blog that I write over on my site at guaranteeppc.com/blog. If you like what you see on as far as information on this channel, you're going to like my blog even more, as I have screenshots and step-by-step instructions on how to be able to make good money with running online ad campaigns for your brand as well there. So if you like what you see here, you'll love that even more, I promise you. I run an ad agency here, as that's still our core business, even though we do run a few company-owned e-commerce sites, as I mentioned earlier. That said, if you are looking for somebody to just get you the results and do all the stuff we talk about on this channel, and somebody who really knows how to get results, you can reach out to me and get an assessment from me at my firm. We do not charge our clients fees until we can get you more profits from your ads. We're the only agency out there that does anything like that. That's it. That is why we call ourselves Guaranteed PPC. And with that, the only catch to working with us and getting a contingency ad management service like that is we got to know we can get great results with your stuff beforehand. But if you want to see if we can work together on a contingency basis and see how much more profit we can provide you from your ads based upon what you're already doing, you simply just have to reach out to me, and I'd be more than happy to look at your stuff and estimate how much profit we can make you in addition to the profit you're already making, or from a new campaign that you might want to start up or on a new platform or something like that. So you can reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com to get that assessment. As a side of it, or beyond that, if you're not looking to work with an ad agency, but you want to get and shortcut your way to success, we have ad templates that work for over 100 different niche markets now at this time. We've done worked with hundreds of clients in the last 10 years, of which, if we've worked in your niche market before, you can literally buy the ads, the landing pages, the campaign templates, all that, everything that works for to get great results in your market, and just copy and paste what we've already used to get those results into your own ad account and get the same results we have already spent and spent good money for to get over years, a lot of times spending millions of dollars in ad spend to figure out what works the best in your market without having to spend all that money for yourself. We've got people using these templates because they work so well, because a lot of times we spent 4, 5, 6, 7 years to get results, find the absolute best way to run ads in a market. They're using these templates to start new businesses. Just starting with an ad template that works, it makes it really easy to start a whole new business, whether that be trying to get into another e-commerce business, sourcing the products that our client that we have now sells, but you're in a different country, so there's no direct competition, or it's starting a lead generation business where you're selling leads to people in a certain industry using our templates that generate leads at a rock bottom cost in an industry to people in that niche, and which is basically, by the way, a really good passive income business idea, right? By the way, the best one I can possibly think of. But anyway, if you're interested in that type of thing, you can reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com as well. But I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you on my next video where we have another great strategy for you then. See you later.